This is another video coming at you from Redskins Rant. Hail to the Redskins. Before I get started on this video, please like my or subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and comment down below what your opinions are on whatever I talk about here. First, I want to thank everyone who watched my video, even the people who disagreed. You know, this is America. This is why we have we're allowed to have a civil discourse. If you swore or cussed in the video in the response, I deleted it. Not having that in my videos. I mean, I might cuss in the video, but let's leave it out of the comment section, okay? So I want to thank everyone that watched the video, whether they had a good or bad opinion on it. Thank you. I will say this is like, I'm kind of excited about it. This is by far my most viewed video ever. It's at 2,970 at this moment, and we were at 12:11 technically on Monday night, going into Tuesday. So I want to thank everyone for watching, and those of you that took the time to subscribe, I appreciate that as well. Appreciate all that. So I got some comments I'm going to go over in response to a bunch of the stuff that was said in there. First off, if any of you are sitting here questioning my heritage, get the fuck off my page. Okay? I don't have to answer to you. I don't have to answer to anyone. Okay? If you don't like what I have to say, there's a fucking exit button that you can push on your keyboard. Get the fuck off my page. You don't have to watch my videos. Okay, I'm not pandering to you. I don't have to prove anything to you. The only person I have to answer to is myself, my wife, and God. It's the only people I have to answer to. Okay? So get the fuck off my page. If I'm not catering to you. I'm not giving you proof of my heritage. It's none of your business. Okay? I have proof. I have enough proof that I need. I've been to enough powwows. All the stuff that I need to prove my heritage to myself. Okay, I don't need you. And for the dumbass that thinks that I literally have two things about me, Batman and the Washington Redskins. There's a lot more to me than those two things. You're a dumbass if you think I'm that two-dimensional. A lot of things about me. Okay, I have a lot of vast interests. I like basketball. I like football. I like comic books. I like movies. I like a whole bunch of things. That's my wife. She can't keep up with all my stuff that I enjoy. Okay, there's more to it. But if you're one of the people who's gonna sit here and question my heritage or whatever the case may be, get the fuck off my page. I don't want you here. Okay? Like, you're literally the thing that we're all talking about is someone judging someone on by the way they look. Okay? You're judging me because I don't look like a Native American. Okay? I'm white. My dad was super Irish. Okay? And super half part Irish, part Swedish. I'm super white from that, and that's what I get it from. Okay? I don't get a lot of if I got my mother's a lot from my mother's side, I get a lot more. Like, if you saw my sister, you'd change your mind a lot. So, get the fuck off my page. I don't have to answer to you. I don't have to answer to anyone about my heritage. I only have to answer to myself, God, and my wife. There's only three beings on this planet that I really have to answer to. Everyone else can kick rocks and blow bubbles. Okay? So that being said, I do want to talk about a couple things. So, the Washington Redskin name. A lot of people said in my video that it's obviously racist or it's a racial slur to change. I don't think it's obviously racist. And here's the problem. This is the problem that I'm having with us changing our name. Okay? Is if the N-word is universally, like 99.9999999% of people believe it is racist. Even, I mean, there's always that one person thinks they don't think it is, so they think they can say it, whatever. And there's obviously a sect of people I don't think it's racist, but for the most part, a very vast majority of people in not just America but the world think the N-word is illegal. I think it's the most disgusting, evil word ever invented. I don't like it when anyone says it, whether they're white, black, whatever. I can't stand the word. Okay, I tell my wife all the time, I hate that word. When we hear it in movies, I hate it. I just cringe. It's such a disgusting word. Okay? But we can all agree that that word is offensive, okay? There's other words out there that we have universally understood and agreed that it is an offensive term. Like for people who are gay, it begins with an F, I'm not going to say the word, that is a very offensive term that we just don't use in everyday vernacular. It's not polite conversation to use these words with a lady who is gay. It's a D word. There's another one out there like that most people universally recognize as an offensive, awful term. It's not the same with the Washington Redskin name. because a lot of or a lot of Native Americans, and I'm just going to say this, okay? I want to give a shout out to a podcast that I highly recommend anyone who is a Redskin fan should listen to. The Redskins Talk podcast. JP Finley, Pete Haley, and who's that one? Mitch Titchler. Those three do the Redskins Talk podcast, and I listen to it every time they launch one for the most part. Okay, pretty much a lot of insider news, and I have stories of myself, and I'm going to reiterate my heritage. My mother is half Cherokee. Her mother was a Cherokee who lived on a reservation. To my understanding, and I didn't know much, I didn't meet my grandmother much, but to my understanding, my grandmother and the entire reservation were huge Redskin fans. Okay, that's where my mother got it. Okay, and my dad was a Redskin fan as well, and him and my mom married, and I got the Cherokee from her, which is about a quarter. Okay, it's a quarter Cherokee. Her mom's full-blooded. She's at least half. I don't know if her dad had anything. I don't know that. I really don't. So I got at least a quarter from my mother. Unless I'm just going to say a quarter. Let's just make it simple. This is what I know it is. And my dad is like an eighth. Not his dad, his grandfather married someone, I think was his grandmother. His grandmother was full-blood, like Chippewa or something like that. So it came down to me, I'm an eighth. So an eighth from my dad and a quarter from my mom. I think that makes it exactly 3/8, if I'm doing my math correctly. So I'm a 3/8 Native American. Not exactly half. It's enough. If I applied, I would have gotten the, I think it's the Native American Scholarship. I think if you're above a quarter and you can prove it, which I can, genealogy, you can actually apply for the Native American Scholarship. I could have gone to school on a free ride just by being a Native American. But I didn't, because I haven't spent enough time on reservations I wouldn't want to take that opportunity away from someone else. But regardless of that, I've spent a lot of time in my life. My mother had taught me a lot about Native Americans, things like that. So, as I've been around people who my mom's entire family does not find the name offensive at all. Her siblings are all half Cherokee. So on and so forth. It's a large percentage of Native Americans, or part Native Americans, or half Native Americans, or three quarters, 3/8, whatever, that are not offended. Okay, they're not offended by the name. And I know apparently someone says that some do find it offensive. Okay, it's not what I'm getting at. What I was getting at with using the N-word analogy is it's not universally recognized as being offensive. Okay. It's not universally recognized as being offensive whenever Native Americans go to games and support the Redskins, because it honors their heritage. How do you have a group over here that says it's offensive, and then a group over here, a bigger group, that says we love the name, it honors America? What people don't understand is Native Americans, there's not a lot of things about them. Okay, not a lot of things about their history, their culture, whatever. You might be able to find some online. But there's really not a lot of things in the public eye about Native Americans. I think you have in the three major sports in America, and I don't watch hockey enough to know all the team names, but I know in NFL you have the Redskins and the Chiefs. Basketball, I believe you have just the Warriors. I believe you have just the Warriors. I don't know of another Native American tribe name or any kind of like team that's represented by Native Americans. So the Warriors. And then in baseball you have the Braves. You have the Braves, the Indians. I think the Reds might be. I don't know if they are, but it sounds like they could be. But there's only like 6 or 7 teams that actually represent Native Americans. And I mean, I have a petition I've seen. Someone shared it in my video that they're trying to get the Chiefs removed next because they find their name offensive. So you're going to be down to 0 in the NFL. The most popular sport in America is going to have 0 representation of Native Americans, which is why a lot of Native Americans support the team. And the reason why I said listen to JP Finley in the Redskins Talk podcast, he's given stories where he was on the radio station last week, and he had people who are full-blooded Native American calling in saying they don't find it offensive, and they know a majority of Native Americans that they know, and they live in neighborhoods or areas that have a lot of Native Americans don't find it offensive. So how are you having all these people who are Native American, who are part Native American, who live on reservations, saying that it's not offensive, and you're still thinking it's offensive, and people saying it's undoubtedly offensive? Universally, the N-word's recognized offensive. This is not universally recognized. This is not even close to being universal in any way, shape, or form. Okay? It is partially, if anything, a handful of people, a handful of Native Americans. Now, there's a bunch of people out there who think they have to. I call them the elite whiteists, if you want to call them that think they have to go and they have to stand up for. They have to be offended for people. Okay, they don't know any better, so we'll be offended for you. That's kind of the way that I feel that they act. And that is, those are the ones that are really up in arms about it, because they're not even the ones that are, the ones that it's even like, if it was offensive, it's not even the person that they're supposed to be offending. It's people who are supposed to be, or trying to stand up for these people, thinking they're being virtuous when they're not. They're actually pandering and making and belittling the people that they're trying to stick up for. The way the world's designed today is, even if you're a minority in America, there's so much social media, there's so much media that you're going to get a stage. You're going to get coverage. This has got a lot of coverage, and it's Native Americans. I mean, I'm going to look it up right now. I don't know off the top of my head. Of America is Native American. Percentage of Native American is 1%. 1%. So, let's just keep this in perspective. We have 1% of America. 1% of America is Native American. Actually, I think that's wrong. That's as of 2008. Let me see if I can get a more recent one. Okay, the entire country, it's no different. It's about, it says 2%. I don't think it's 2%. I think that's inaccurate. I think maybe some states it's a little bit higher. Okay, it says 2%. I'm going to go with that. So a large percentage of the population is not Native, is Native American. 98% of the population is not Native American. Okay, so we have 2% of the population who is trying to tell the other 98%. If it was universal, it's a lot different. If it was universal and it was widely recognized as offensive to all Native Americans, then you're completely right. This needs to be changed, but it's not. It's not universally recognized by all Native Americans as offensive. There are clearly a large percentage, and there's 6 million Native Americans. I thought it was a lot more than I thought. I thought it was like a couple 100,000. But there's 6 million Native Americans in the United States of America, and more than 5 million of them, more than, it's 90% is what all the case studies have been, and it's more than one. I know everyone's like, oh, that was a skewed study. Okay, there's no other study out there, so you have to go off the information presented. Okay, there's one nation really that throws the fit, and that's the Oneida Indian Nation. Okay, and they throw together, and they have small tribes, and they throw their leaders together and say that we have 12 tribe leaders. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of tribes. No, it's one tribe with a bunch of little tiny like towns basically, and they each have their own leader, and they make it look like it's a lot more than it is. It's not a large percentage by any means. Find the name offensive. I'm sure some do. This is the age of whoever is the most offended is the biggest victim in the world. It's the victim Olympics. Whoever has the most victimhood wins. It's the way the world is right now. Okay? And I'm sure there are a bunch of Native Americans who are offended, but there's a lot more that are not offended. If you listen to the podcast, he'll tell you stories. I'm not just making them up. I've never come across anyone who is part Native American says, I'm offended by the name. Never come across anyone. Never come across anyone that's full-blood Cherokee or Native American that said, the name truly does offend me. I wish they would change it. I've come across people that said they do find it offensive, but they don't think it should change. And don't think it should change because there's not a lot of things that remind people of Native Americans. So they want these things in the forefront. That way their heritage keeps getting passed on. Even though it's through sports, it still gets passed on. And I get what people say. They're going to say, you can pass it on with another name. Yes, but there's a rich history of almost 100 years of the Native American Redskins name. Okay, and it's been so bastardized, the name of Redskins. I've heard so many different reasons as to why they call them Redskins. One is just because Redskins called Native Americans called them. This is what I was taught. Native Americans called themselves Redskins because they like to call white people pink. Okay, so they used to use that as a racial slur to white people, pink skinned. Okay, that's what they called themselves, Redskins. Also heard that Braves, people who were like the warriors in the tribe, were called Redskins. That's how they associated themselves or put themselves on a higher level than everyone else in the community. I heard someone say that apparently calling someone Redskin, the word Redskin was from people who would kill Native Americans, bring back their skin. That's just horse crap. I mean, it's asinine to me how much people want to stretch these things. It is not, to me, now this is my opinion, I don't think it's an offensive term. I can see how it can be offensive, but I don't think it's not intended to be that way. And I think it's a descriptive word, red skin. Okay? I'm white skinned. That doesn't offend me if someone says, hey, white skin, white guy. Okay? That doesn't offend me. Okay? And I'm sure they didn't take the name because, hey, let's pick that name. What was it they said they wanted someone, when they killed a Native American, what was it they wanted to bring back? Oh, their red skin? That's not why they picked the name. That's just fucking asinine that someone would even say that. Okay? That wasn't in my comments. I was on Facebook. Someone said that. I was like, oh, that's what Redskins means. Like, no, there's multiple meanings for it. It's different areas in the country there's different meanings for it. I think it's not exactly. I think it can be used as a wrong term. I think you can use it in a vulgar way. Like, so I'm going to give an example. The N-word. Yeah, if I say it, it's definitely in a vulgar way. There's no excuse for me to ever say the word. But African American people have used it as a term of endearment towards each other. Okay, so I think it's the same thing with that word. The Redskins word can be used in a derogatory manner if it's said in a snarky way. But it's not used in a snarky way. It's used in such a proud, empowering manner. Okay, to represent the strength of Native Americans, the history, the honor, the pride that they have, and all those things. And I think that is hugely getting misrepresented. And it's not, the reason why it's getting misrepresented because it's people who don't give a flying fuck about the team name. Okay, it's cancel culture. They want to cancel everything. They want everything canceled. They just can't have anyone being satisfied with anything. And I'm gonna give this example one more time. There are other teams that already have petitions to have their name changed. Once the Redskins' name's changed, the floodgates open, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's different because it's racial." No, it doesn't matter if it's racial. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's racial. Okay, the way the world works, anyone can be offended by anything, and if they can find a way to shut something down that might offend one person, as long as they can get some kind of political edge out of it, they're going to do it. Okay, YouTube shuts down channels all the time. YouTube demonetizes channels all the time because of it has a political slant. Okay, this happens all the time. Okay. The Packers, I actually got told this by someone in the chat group of my last video, that the Packers have already had PETA come after them because they don't pack cheese, and I was wrong about saying that. It just happens to do with that, the fact that people in Wisconsin, it's known for cheese, so they wore cheese heads to the Packers games. But the Packers were known for packing meat. So PETA wants them to change their name because it's offensive because they killed animals. Okay, so that's not the only team. It's not the only mascot that killed animals. Cowboys butchered cows. Okay. Cowboys murdered Native Americans. There's so many different team names you're going to have that are eventually going to be called upon. You're going to have mascots that are a certain skin color that you're going to get mad about. It's not going to stop. I think we're about to open the floodgates, and it might start with my team. It ain't going to end with my team. It's going to start with my team. And there's going to be multiple teams. Mark my words. And I'm already seeing the dominoes falling. Now, I'm pretty confident the Redskins are going to change the name. Here's what's going to happen with Dan Snyder. Here's the thing also about the team name. The team name, we have a phrase, HTTR, that the Washington Redskins fans like to say. We like to say HTTR, Hail to the Redskins. We're not going to be able to say that. They change it to a team name, it's not an R. They changed it to the Warriors, HTTW. Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. I mean, it still works for the fight song, Hail to the Warriors, Hail Victory, Braves on the Warpath, Fight for Old DC. That still works. If you change it to the Red Tails, that keeps the R, but it doesn't work when it comes to the fight song. Hail to the Red Tails, Hail Victory, Braves on the Warpath. That doesn't make sense. Maybe Pilots on the Warpath, Fight for Old DC, whatever. Maybe, I don't know. But I think we're going to have problems with that. There's also going to be a huge monetary problem, because not only do you have to change the name, you have to buy back all the product that you have sold to other places. Like, for example, I'm about to go to Outer Banks. I go to Outer Banks this weekend, this coming weekend for a week. And on the way down, it's going to stop in Virginia and stop at a Five Below, because there's so much Redskin gear there. I think Redskins have to buy back all that merchandise, because they can't sell it now. So they're going to have to buy back all that merchandise, and now they have to change everything. You're changing the field, you're changing jerseys, you're changing stationery, you're changing pins, you're changing magnets, They probably already printed out programs for like the schedule. They probably sent out like tons of different things, and they have to change all that. That's going to cost a lot of money. I have a feeling, and I don't want to put money on this, but I have the feeling Dan Snyder is going to hold out as long as possible and not change that name. And what he's going to do is, rather than actually changing the name, he's basically just going to, hold on. Oh wow, I have over 3,000 hits now. 3,000 views. That's awesome. So, in the time in which I was taping this video, I hit over 3,000 views. That's awesome. 3,010 views. Highest video I've ever had by like 3 times as much. I think the highest one I've ever had up to this point was Alex Smith. Whenever I think I announced it as it was being announced. Like, I heard it through the somehow, I don't remember how I heard it. I heard it, and I heard it through like the grapevines, and I had a video about Alex Smith being traded to the Redskins, and I was so excited, because I'm a big Alex Smith fan, and I actually announced it as it was actually being announced. It was very weird, because I heard it like the couple days before. I heard like there was a rumor about it, so I did a video about it, and I got a lot of views before it actually got launched. But this one tops that by far. So appreciate everyone who saw the video. But yeah, the Redskin name, it's going to be, here's what I think Dan Snyder's going to do. He's going to hold out. He's not going to change it and he's going to wait, and he's going to see if the NFL calls his bluff. And they're either going to just let him keep the name, or they're going to force him to sell. Because you don't know something? To buy back all that stuff, Dan Snyder has to spend a lot of money buying back all that stuff, and a lot of money changing everything. So why would he do that when he could say kick rocks and blow bubbles, make me sell the team, I'll take $3 billion or $4 billion or whatever it is, and walk. And then the next buyer, who's probably going to be Jeff Bezos, will come in, he'll pay for all those changes and change the team name. That's probably what it's going to be. I think Dan Snyder is a billionaire, doesn't like to be told what to do, but he likes his money. I think that's what he's going to do. I think he's too much of a Redskins fan to change the name. I think he really is steadfast in that he won't change the name ever, capital letters. And he's probably just going to hold out and be forced to sell. And then he'll get max dollars for the team. The team will go up for auction. The NFL can make him sell because it is a fraternity. They have every right to. It's in the bylaws. They actually prevented Trump from buying the Bills for that same exact reason. So I think that's what if I'm being honest, if I was Dan Snyder, I'd do the same exact thing. I'd think, fuck that. Eat rocks, go kick rocks and blow bubbles. Fuck you. I ain't changing the name. And if you're gonna make me change the name, you're gonna make me sell the team first. And I'll walk away with $3.5 billion. And the next owner can come in and pay all that money to change the name and change all this stuff, yada yada yada, and just create a whole mess. And it's going to cost the league so much money because you're going to lose revenue, because you're going to have all these sponsors are mad because the Redskins name wasn't changed. You're going through an ownership change, and all these things are happening. It's really going to create a mess. I have a feeling it's one of two ways with Dan. He's either going to be complacent and do that, or he's going to be like the biggest dick ever. And I kind of hope he goes to like court with it, and like that he can somehow tie it up in litigation for like 5 years. I kind of hope he does that. I really do. But I'm pretty much just going to sum it up with this. If you find the Redskin name offensive, okay, you do. That's fair. If you find it offensive and you're Native American, that's fair. If you find it offensive and you're not, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? You're not Native American. Stop speaking on behalf of Native Americans. I don't speak on behalf of all Native Americans. I know I don't. I speak on behalf of me and my experiences with the people I know. Okay? But you don't speak on behalf of Native Americans. You can't sit there and, like, there's people will literally on the video that I have posted will say it's unequivocally racist. It's not unequivocally racist whenever unequivocally every Native American, or at least not even a majority of Native Americans, find the name offensive. And if you have evidence otherwise, let me see the results. Because I have Dan Snyder's results from whenever he went on the reservations. I have Chris Cooley's results. Chris Cooley individually went on, I think it was 10 different reservations back in 2012 or 2013, one of those 2 years. Because he went on First Take at the time, and he basically called Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless lazy journalists. Because, like, unless you're going to go onto the actual reservations like I did and talk to these people, to sit here and say that it's racist after not even talking to people and getting their opinions on it is just lazy journalism. He's 100% right. It's lazy journalism to sit there and say that something is racist because you feel it might be racist, but the people who it's supposed to be offending don't feel that way universally. Okay? If they stood in solidarity and said the team name was racist, we don't like it, yada, 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 and it was like 70% to 30%, then yes, it is something that does need to be changed, because that is a large percentage of not the population, but their population, their sect of society. Okay, and that's different. But if you're talking about like 5% or 10% or even 20% of the Native American people, which is about 6 million people, that's not a lot of people. Okay, it's not a large percentage. Okay, whenever I was in school, and if I was in school and we had one kid that was acting up, it didn't mean the rest of us acted up. I mean, that kid was the outlier. Okay, so if you have 80% of your population doesn't think something's offensive, and the other 20 do, maybe there's something about this other 20 that they're too sensitive, whatever the case may be. I'm not trying to diminish how they feel about it. I'm just saying that if you feel this way and everyone else don't, maybe you should look at why everyone else doesn't feel this is offensive, instead of trying to just change it without consulting the rest of the people in your own community. Okay? And if you're someone who's not in their community, like technically I'm not, because I'm not on a reservation. Okay? I mean, all we can do is have our opinions, but you don't speak on their behalf. I don't speak on their behalf either. Okay? Let's make sure we understand that. Ultimately, this is America, though. We do have the right to freedom of speech, and we have the right to talk about these things. We can do it in a respectful manner. But the one thing I will not have respect for is don't disrespect me and don't disrespect my heritage by questioning it. I don't know you an explanation. I don't know anyone an explanation except for 3 people: myself, God, and my wife. It's the only people I answer to. Okay? Technically my boss, but he doesn't have any say in any other aspect of my life. Okay? So if you want to talk about the name and it's offensive and you can be polite about it, that's one thing. But when you call me stupid or whatever case may be, or question my heritage, fuck off. I don't want you on my channel. Go to another channel. I don't give a shit. Okay? But that's my video. I hope everyone who viewed this actually is someone who's in agreement about the name. If you're not, I'm so glad you watched it. Hopefully we can have a civil discourse, and that's what I hope to have with this. Hail to the Redskins. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to say that, but hail to the Redskins. Have a good one. Have a good evening. Everyone be safe. See ya.